number 17 Alabama going to number 5 Georgia, and my synopsis so far is Alabama, they took a bite out of number 5 Georgia. The final score ended up being 24-21 Alabama, and all 24 points came in the first half, by the way. That was all they needed. With this loss, Kirby Smart is now 1-7 all time against Alabama, dating back to both the Nick Saban and Kalen DeBoer eras. More notably, this snaps Georgia's 33-game home winning streak. That was the longest active FBS streak in the nation.
This whole situation, it kind of reminds me of that Grim Reaper meme where he's like going from door to door, and it's like it's Alabama just destroying every single one of Georgia's streaks. A couple years ago, it was like the longest winning streak. Now it's the home winning streak. I saw something that said in this game, Georgia didn't lead at any point, which is the first time in like 30 years or something. It was, yeah, or whatever it was. But, the Grim Reaper meme, comes to mind here for me.
Yep. One key thing I wanted to highlight, Alabama's offensive line. So I know, Mash, you were at the game, but one thing I saw on the TV, like these guys were just huge and holding their own the whole time in the pocket, right?
You can tell from my voice, we were doing our job. I think there was one false start that I caused, but they, for real, like very disciplined. They just seemed like they were 100 pounds bigger than anything Georgia could throw at them. Really shout out to Alabama's offensive line for sure.
Yeah. Alabama's offense, they were lights out, converting 13 of 19 on, I think, third down. By comparison to Georgia, who converted just 2 of 8 times, right? So 25% versus 68%. One key thing, Alabama's O-line, they had been dealing with injuries, and they were finally able to get healthy at the right time. Caden Proctor, he's the big guy that got rewarded for all his hard work he's been putting into the program. He was able to catch a bubble screen, like, what kind of plays are we, are they dialing up?
That caught me so off guard. I'm like, who is this chubby? Anyway, yeah.
The chubby 6'7", 380.
Just bumbling his way down. I think he got 11 yards on that.
It just seemed like, they were calling all the right plays. But it basically set Alabama up on the 2-yard line. Again, highlighting that line, they only gave up 1 sack the whole night. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was probably the only time Ty Simpson really got touched.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ty Simpson, what a way to bounce back after that Florida State game. 276 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and he ran for 1 touchdown. Mm-hmm. He's got what is needed to achieve everything ahead of Alabama this season, right?
Yep. I think, all the doubts, all that stuff, hopefully has been put to bed. He's got, maybe he had the first game jitters, in an away stadium, but he's got it figured out now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and on TV again, they had him in the spotlight from the pregame talk to the celebration to the poise throughout the game. It seemed like this spotlight was meant for Ty Simpson on Saturday. Kalen DeBoer, he is now 2-0 against Kirby Smart. Furthermore, he's an absurdly impressive 7-0 combined against Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, and Steve Sarkisian, dating back to his time at Washington. So, he's proving that, even though Alabama has some struggles and they maybe aren't, exemplifying what we've seen with Nick Saban, he's proving that they're a team that can win big games. One thing that everybody's focusing on in terms of decisions of the game, the 4th and 1 decision. What are your thoughts on that, Mash?
Yeah, it happened so fast that, me as an audience member, we didn't really get to process it in real time. By the time the play was done, that's finally when we realized, like, what was that? What happened to the field goal? But at the end of the day, we'll review that play on video here in a second. But at the end of the day, the analytics says what the analytics say, right? You can complain about giving it to Cash Jones versus all the other running backs that we have. Maybe not Nate Frazier because he keeps dropping the ball every game. But um, the point is, the analytics doesn't account for your offensive line just letting a free rusher through, right? That's gonna stop a play every time. So we're not the coach, right? The coaches have their decisions. Kirby Smart decided to be aggressive in this moment versus conservative. It's played out. It's worked well for him before. We can't just just speaking from a Georgia fan or just someone who's watching the game, you can't criticize the one time he wanted to be aggressive and it didn't work, and not also blame him for the times where he was aggressive and it did work and he won, national championships, with that. Let me pull up the video real quick. All right. So we've got, 4th and 1 on the Alabama 8-yard line early in the fourth quarter. Let me go. Any thoughts before we run the play?
My initial thoughts are, feeling the whole vibe of the game at this point in time. I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's go for 4th down. Alabama hasn't scored the whole second half. You've scored. Your team has some momentum. You've been driving the ball. It's 1 yard. So if it does work, you're like, that was the best decision ever.
Whole different story, right?
Exactly. But if you run the play, again, you see the edge rusher breakthrough. Cash Jones is just trying to stay on his feet, but contact got him down.
See, even the TV little bug, analytics thing, it says go for it. So it's like, are the coaches relying too much on analytics these days? I don't know, but the analytics says nothing about someone getting past your offensive lineman.
Exactly. And then one thing that I saw on TV that kind of, made sense on why Cash Jones was in there. Georgia wanted to make this a tempo play, right? He was already out there on the third down play. He's the third down back. So they didn't want to give Alabama a chance to really prep for this play. They wanted to go out there, get the play going, get the quick 1 yard. Again, didn't work out in their favor.
Could Gunner have pulled that one?
Let's see. Potentially, but
tough to say.
Tough to say. Could have been a design play to go to Cash, but
yeah.
Hey, hindsight, right? It's 2020.
Hindsight is always 2020. We have the privilege of knowing how the play ended out and then make criticism, right?
All right, yeah. I mean, so yeah, we kind of, diagnosed the play, the miscue, the opportunity there. Nonetheless, we're here now. Alabama is undefeated in SEC play. Georgia's now 1-1. They both have, I think it's a 4-1 record in the year.
3-1. Wait, 3-1.
3-1. Yep, both 3-1 because they both have had bye weeks. That's right. Nonetheless, up next, Alabama has to face Vanderbilt. Of course, they're looking for redemption from last year's game, and Missouri. Those games are, I think, both at home. And then after that, they have to host Tennessee. Georgia's upcoming, schedule. They have Kentucky before they go to Auburn, and then they host Ole Miss. So both teams have to get ready to lock in and, get ready for a conference, roller coaster for these next games.